Okay, so we're gonna play some Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. Ooh, ah, yes, the weaker of the Game Boy Mega Man bunch. Apparently, my understanding is this was a different developer that made this, as opposed to the rest of them, and that's why it turned out the way it did. It's a Mega Man game that could have been good if it had a little extra polish. Unfortunately, it didn't have that extra polish, and so there's a bunch of issues with it. Did a shorter video on this ages ago, but we're gonna play this today because I figured why not. I had nothing better to do, so sure. So usually I start with Metal Man, but we're gonna be different. We're gonna start with Airman. First time I'm starting with Airman. Usually I start with Airman on the NES game of the same name, but we're gonna do it here because I figured something a little different, and I could show off one of the earliest flaws of this game, in which I could jump on the spikes, take a hit, and keep going without consequence, thus making the game a little easier than usual. And the PPs fly by a little slower, though. Oh yeah, you could slide in this version. Yeah, so one thing I like to do is I like to grind for health and stuff. Because I figured, sure, why not? Oh, wait, there's health here. I forgot about that. There you go. No consequence. Just keep going. And the damage you take is very minimal. At least so far. I'm sure there's going to be some enemy that's going to come by and DD. Yeah, this song is, I appreciate the effort in making new music. Trying on it, just so it wouldn't be just like straight remixes of like the old NES tracks, but the instrumentation is just awful. And I remember when I did the video on this, the lightning noise, there's not much to it. You shoot them, you jump on the platforms. It's always the same pattern too. Remember, I did the review on this like ages ago, and one comment said, "Well, it's Game Boy, what'd you expect?" Dude, you listen to plenty of Game Boy games, there's better quality music. The other Mega Man games especially, the one that came before that had great music. And then they dropped the ball on this one. But the problem aren't the tunes. If you took the tunes and you remixed them, like there's one remix by the Rush Jet 1, he redid the soundtrack for this thing, and it sounds amazing. Now, those tunes are listenable under the right circumstances. The instrumentation's kind of shit. So now we're gonna fight Airman. Quick digression from that, because nobody can beat Airman. And we're gonna pelt him with pellets, because that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the blows that do very little damage. I forgot how much little damage they take. And just keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting, and keep forgetting you could slide under the little air shooter tornadoes. But that's irrelevant because we beat Airman. And we apparently can't beat Airman if the song is to be believed, but we just did, so screw it. We beat Airman. So we got the air shooter and Rush Jet. And that's why I start with Airman, because he comes with the Rush Jet. And I love the Rush Jet. Rush Jet in this game is based on the one from Mega Man 3. You can move all over the place. And that's the only time you could do that with Mega Man 3. With Rush Jet, you move it all over the place. It's this game and Mega Man 3. And Wily Wars, if you want to count that. And then the rest of them just had that forward moving aspect. So now we have Clashman. Not much to it. The layouts of these levels are similar to the layouts in like the NES game. They're just kind of sort of different. And there's some remixed bits here and there. But if you're familiar with the NES game, there shouldn't be much of a surprise here. And this is why I like the Rush Jet. Circumvent all that crap. Oh, nice mountains. Go over the tin cans. One thing I usually like to do is like the edges of the screen. I'll see if I could walk by to see if there's like alternate paths. This is why you want Rush Jet, is so you could get the E-Tank. So if you started with Clash Man, you couldn't get that E-Tank. And I like getting the E-Tanks. You can just climb down the ladder just like that. Try not to fall in the pit, because sometimes you could do that. Now, this is the pit I usually foul up on. Just kill the tellies. That's turns out alright. Mega Man's rather mediocre climbing speed. And actually redid this level in Mega Man Maker. Kind of remembering some of the elements were well, actually my remixed level was combined this and bits of the NES level, but I digress. It's a fairly straightforward level for the most part, not that overly complicated. Like I said, if you're familiar with the NES games, you know, you play through these, it's pretty old hat. There's nothing, and they're fairly short levels too. You know, these go by really quickly, I think. So now we're gonna face Clash Man or Crash Man, because the localization's kind of something. And I whiffed the first air shooters. The air shooters don't do as much damage as they did in Mega Man 2 on NES. So the weakness weapon isn't much of a weakness weapon. And I'm going to run out of ammo, so that's unfortunate. I'm going to have to switch with the... Yeah, that's what I love, is you got one unit of ammo left and you can't use your one shot. So you got to finish them up with the Buster. Fortunately, playing Mega Man Maker, I'm able to ascertain the pattern of Crash Man, and I'm able to defeat him and use the Clash Bombs, and I don't remember what accessory I got with him. If it was Rush Coil or something else. Like, I really don't remember. You know, Clash Bomb and... Oh yeah, Rush Coil. Yeah, because normally you start with Rush Coil in the NES games or beyond, but here you don't. You have to get it. So, that's kind of unfortunate, but that's okay. Now we're going to face off with Metal Man, everyone's favorite, because it has the metal blades that you can shoot in 8 directions and stuff. Here we got this wonderful song playing in the background. This is excellent level design, by the way. First drop, you fall into a bunch of spikes. I think that was my first time playing this. I dropped down. Don't expect much. Classic level design. That's a favorite among, well, anyways. Anyways, familiar old hat, the seizure-inducing conveyor belts. And the flicker. Which is even worse here, because you're missing a bunch of frames. That's okay. The crushers were never really much of an issue, even on the NES side of things. It's these drill bits that might be a bit of a thing. That's a bit of a cheap shot, hiding the crusher behind the background. Like, that's some bullshit design. But whatever. We got through that. Usually don't go through that, you know, without a scratch, but hey. It's fine. Yeah, we got these clown guys. They're easily disposed of. Not much to it. And we climb upwards, which you don't normally do in Metal Man. The shots move very slowly here, you know, from the Mets. Mega Man 1 on the Game Boy, Dr. Wily's Revenge, the shots went by super fast, and that made them somewhat hard to dodge. Here it's like, okay, whatever. It's like, the shots are on a leisurely scroll. Like, even the shots on the NES games were slightly faster. And we got that one up. If I went for this first, I wouldn't have been able to get that, because I had nothing to get it, but... Anyways. Moving right, we got the extra life. Extra life if you didn't catch that. You'll have other opportunities, but it sounds like you're picking up a gold coin from Mario or something. Similar level design to the NES game. More of these canned things, more of these clown things. Surprised you didn't get any canned things. And like I said, that's the end of the level. So I got the Clash Bombs. We're gonna see if this weapon is actually useful in killing Metal Man. The answer is no. But that's fine. If I need to kill him with the pellets, I'll kill him with the pellets. The weapons are largely ineffective here. That's like the worst thing. I guess for some people who don't want their weakness weapons to be effective, is the one common complaint that I never got. Yeah, Metal Man's dead. Yeah, you get the metal blades and I think Rush Marine. Yippee. Anyways, one complaint I never got with Mega Man. I hate when the weakness weapon makes the boss fights easier. Which is the whole point of using a weakness weapon. A weakness weapon drains the boss of health and makes the fights quicker and shorter. That's the whole point of a fucking weakness weapon. If you don't want the boss fights to be easy, don't use the weakness weapon. You'll get a good fight. Please. Jesus Christ. So all that's left is the Woodman. Don't use the metal weapon. Okay, that's an obscure reference to a popular series of old VHS tapes, or at least popular these days. Anyways, much like the NES game, we start in the forest. We're fighting ball bats and rabbits and shit like that. Pretty harmless fare. Not much to it. Yeah, more bats. Now they suddenly notice I'm here. Yeah, you hear that? That was a gold coin being picked up in lieu of an extra life. Quickly dispose of the hot dog. It was much easier to be here and avoid their shots because it's only one arc. Let's kill the rabbit. Not much to it. Now we got something resembling a new bit. Now you take your chances with the needles and the cannons, or you just use Rush Marine to circumvent all of that and just go underneath. And I usually do that because it's, well, it's quicker. Let's just put it that way. Should I put some fishes underneath so you make it harder? Please. Kill the ball bats. Of course, the problem is the weapons are largely ineffective. So just better off, like, you know, it's one of those games where you're genuinely better off just using the Buster. So if you want to do a Buster-only run, yeah, metal blades go through the chickens. Usually the metal blades bounce off the chickens, but whatever. You know, I think I got an extra life there. This run has been, you know, 2 extra lives so far. Aside from the one that I got in Metal Man, because that's always going to be there, but pretty generous. So we're gonna disregard Skip Rogers' advice, and we're gonna use the metal weapon to make short work of Woodman. We're gonna make really short work of Woodman to piss off the people who don't want their weakness weapons to make short work of bosses, because that's the whole point of weakness weapons in a Mega Man game. If you don't want the boss fights to end quickly, then don't use the weakness weapons. Use a Buster and stuff. Take plenty of hits. Play sloppily, and that sort of thing. So get the Leaf Shield. Leaf Shield is so awesome, it comes alone. I don't think I've ever used the Leaf Shield in this game. I don't think so. I could be wrong. Anyways. So we got the Wily Lab. Mega Man's looking around. We're going to drop down this inconspicuous hole here. Aha! The Dr. Valley. Yeah, the jig is up, Wily. What are you doing backing up? Don't back up. Don't walk. Oh no, I've walked into a trap. How dumb of me. Now I have to fight 4 more robot masters from Mega Man 3. Much like the previous game. You know? Except this time you get to play their stages, so there's more bang for your buck. And of course, much like the previous game. Ugh, fuck me. Yeah, that was my fault, folks. Sorry. I thought I could make that jump. I don't know what happened there. Probably the magnet guy threw me off. Okay, so I'm gonna take my time then. Alright, whatever. If this were on the NES, I probably would have made that jump. But, I don't know. Whatever. That seemed to work fine there. Sometimes, maybe I just mistimed it. Sometimes it happens. Now, this is amazing. This is incredible level design. Bloop! You don't even need that block. I mean, seriously, folks. Mind you, if this was like a full-size screen, it probably would have made more sense. But because it isn't. Those missiles, by the way, bounce off. You could normally kill those on the NES. But yeah, much like the earlier sets of levels, this follows the basic layout of the NES game, like the NES levels. So, you've played Mega Man 3 on NES. You're already somewhat familiar with the way this works out. And bit of a fumble there. They do try to mix it up by adding pits and stuff. And metal weapon. Yeah, figured. Metal weapon doesn't do that much damage, but it has its uses, much like in Mega Man 2. If you want a nice, convenient, you want to try and do this without, resorting to rush jet. God damn. Like, the timing has to be, like, split. Duh. Shit. Normally, I just use Rush Jet and circumvent all of this, but I want to try and actually... Ah, there we go. There we go. That wasn't so bad. Now, fortunately, you have that piece of ledge to save your ass. This segment is a little shorter. Timing... Like, your timing has to be really, really tight. This is like Castlevania the Adventure platforming here. Jesus Christ. Oy. Come on. There we go. You always wait if you're unsure. You wait a while, you see how the pattern goes, and you try and follow it. It's always a good little tip. Now, if you're speedrunning, this means nothing, but if you don't care for beating the game quickly, and you just want to beat the damn thing, then it's a nice little thing. Yeah. So you just get the power-ups and the pickups and stuff. One thing you gotta keep in mind is that even though you're jumping levels, none of your weapons regenerate. So you gotta be mindful of your stuff. It's like an actual Wily Fortress in the old games where your weapons, you go through the stages, but none of your stuff refills. So we got Magnet Man. That's gonna be fun stuff. And Magnet Man is a little more resistant to the metal weapon than Woodman. Now he gives us Le Magnets. And now he has Le Magnet Bits. He is dead. People will probably like this game if they don't want their weakness weapons to be effective against bosses. Because again, whatever. Anyways. Take a sip of coffee. Very refreshing. Also very cold. Oh, not really that cold. There's still a bit of heat to it. So you got Hard Man and these metal blocks. You get the bees. So when we went from the PPs and their billion mini birds to like the bees. I'm sure there's like a specific a robot name for it. I don't remember. That's okay. And I used an energy tank so I could justify picking up the extra E tank because you could only carry like 4 of them, which I think is the general maximum limit. Again, you know, if you've played the Hardman on NES, then this is a similar layout. They might change a couple things here and there, but you know, somewhat familiar terrain. Oh, there's been an extra life. Do I want to get that extra life? Yeah. Okay. Why not? And you know, on a second thought, I don't need any extra lives. And if I do need them, they'll probably pop up somewhere. I don't know. See, that's a smart kill. There we go. That's a smart kill. You just stand aside, and we got an extra life anyway, so... Unfortunately, I gotta go with, wood. Wood. There we go. That's the only thing, the only real use I have for wood. And you just, you know, keep your distance. Because if you if you reach a certain range, he'll jump up to the ceiling and then he'll drop down and, you know, stuff. Actually, in hindsight, I probably should have used a metal weapon. You know, like that. But you shoot him, he's in the optimal positioning to shoot down. Not much to it. Oh, I don't know how that happened, but there you go. Probably climbed too high. That's okay. Just use the metal weapon. Pick up the pellets to restore the shots that I probably shouldn't have taken out. This is a bit of an awkward angle, but not much of a surprise, I suppose. Anyways. And then the rest of the level is pretty straightforward. Just go over the clamps into the boss door and have fun, I guess. There's some inklings of good music. It's just the instrumentation is just kind of lame. Which I think I mentioned it. If you remixed it, you remixed the music, and again, like I've said, I go back to that Rush Jet 1 soundtrack. Now the magnet missiles do their job just fine. Oh, that's kind of the the magnet missile bounces off. The giant magnet bounces off the little hard knuckle. Excellent. Excellent game design, ladies and gentlemen. Thank fuck they didn't do that in Mega Man on the NES. probably should do that for the people who don't like weakness weapons to be effective against bosses and make boss fights easier, which I thought was the whole point of weakness weapons, but whatever. Okay, this is the kicker. Do I go up or do I go down? Ah, fuck. Should have went up. The only thing I didn't like about this game was it was mystery meat. And mind you, if you remember what everything was like, that's one thing. But I haven't played this in a while. I haven't played this in like years, so I don't remember. I'm trying to avoid the guides and stuff. Anyways, this level is slightly different because you climb upwards. Or did you climb upwards in the other game, or did you go down underground? I don't remember. I don't. Yeah, you went underground. Whatever. So they have this alternate path because you got a weakness weapon. You got a weakness weapon to refill. Because, like I said, like you see there, the weapons don't refill between stages. Which is why I don't want to use the rush jet. I want to save that for the... And I dropped through the ladder. That's okay. Mega Man does that too. That's another bit that I recreated for Mega Man Maker. Anyone who wants to play that... That has been taking most of my time, actually. Usually PC gaming, I minimize it. Because it does take a lot of time to... put together. You gotta open up Steam, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I know there's like desktop shortcuts, but it's so cluttered and shit. I hardly use the desktop. But Mega Man Maker, I just load up the start menu, I got a shortcut, and I just click it, and I'm done. Like, the only really extensive work there is replacing the music. This level's pretty straightforward. There's no mini-boss or anything like that. And I got the bug things. Yippee. Uh-huh. I guess not, huh? By the way, I'm not going back to this level, so there's no real benefit. I think this is an extra life. Yeah. So I lost 1 life, but I gained plenty more, so I'm not too worried. It was on a very errant jump. So you avoid the needles, not much to it. Bit of a tricky platforming bit here. Platforming, like sliding puzzle, whatever you want to call it. Hammer Joe. Honestly, you could have gone for like a more valuable prize, but whatever, fuck. I don't know why I did that. I wanted to go for the... This is actually a neat trick. A neat trick you could do is like, if you get a weapons capsule, and you and it's in the middle of a refill, you swap weapons, and you refill the other weapon. I'm sure people know this trick already, but it's a neat one that I just discovered. And I thought, cool, that's something you could exploit. It's something you shouldn't be able to do, but whatever. So now I gotta deal with this fucking needle man. Which is gonna give me plenty of trouble, because... Oh yeah, your shots bounce off the needles. That's brilliant. That's excellent. I wish I had a weakness weapon here. Okay, I'm gonna see if I could try and beat this... yeah, of course, you're gonna run right into me. I'm gonna have to use an E-tank, aren't I? Oh, thank God. On the other hand, though, what's the weakness weapon? Top spin? Yeah. Christ. Top spin on the NES was pretty broken. I can't imagine using top spin here. Okay, so now we're gonna go with Top Man. The level I wanted to do beforehand, but whatever. This is how we're ending it. I also remade this in the Maker and stuff like that and stuff. Whatever. Anyways. Oh goody, we're back in the water again. Because you don't have a proper water level in this game, so we gotta do this. Yeah, I'm not gonna take my chances. With this game? Nah. I was fine doing it with Magnet Man. Because, Magnet Man had a floor. And also I wanted to conserve the Rush Jet energy, but Rush Marine I probably only need for like one other segment. So I'm like, whatever. Anyways. Let's see if we could pull this off again. Yeah, you see? You swap weapons right off the bat. And it's charging. And it'll charge to the next weapon. You're normally not supposed to be able to do that. Like, even with games, with Mega Man games where you have the energy balancer, once it fills, once when it reaches the maximum, it just stops. Which, to be fair, I don't know. I like the way this does it better. But whatever. Yeah, rush coil. Another extra life there. A top segment. I don't know why you got to. Oh, because I killed the top two. And you got this little shortcut here. Another E-tank. This game is generous with extra lives and E-tanks, I find. And you can do that again. There we go. So another E-tank I gotta leave behind. Because, sure, why not? And you probably want to... That's okay, I can go back and get the E-tank now. So that works out beautifully. Even the E-tank has a different sound effect. Okay, dipshit, move. There we go. So we got this segment. And we eventually got the spinning tops. Yeah, we're circumventing that stuff. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to use the rush jet to circumvent this part. I don't know why they don't use the tops all that much. They only use it for one segment towards the end of the level, and that's it. This even with Mega Man 3, it's the same thing. Same case. And now here we are, we're going to face off against Top Man. God damn. Oh wait, why does it... Oh yeah, I forgot. Hard Knuckle's a single hit weapon. I'm so used to Mega Man Maker and the modifications that they made to those weapons. In that game, the Hard Knuckle bounces off the enemy until it kills it. Here, it's just like a one-hit weapon. So, that caught me off guard a bit, but that's okay, because we've got the top spin, which is even more broken. Okay, so we got a little Dougie. That's your password. That's your end password, everybody. Write that down. Pause. No, go back, pause the video, and write that down. And now we're gonna face off against Quint, who is apparently a Mega Man from the future who has turned bad, because I guess sure, why not? This is Mega Man from the future. He's riding a pogo stick. It's supposed to be a jackhammer. Technically, it's kind of a jackhammer, but I'd call it a pogo stick because that's pretty much what it is. And, that's all you do. He jumps all over the place. You hit him in the head. You avoid his leaps and bounds. And then he goes away. He doesn't even have the privilege of a health meter. That's how ineffective he is as a... I guess technically he's not a Mega Man killer, even though like technically he was a boss in like Mega Man 5 on Game Boy when they're revisiting all the Mega Man killers, but he wasn't brought back for Mega Man 10. Now we're going to space. Oh yeah, the Quint item. You get the pogo stick, the jackhammer, the Sakugan, which I never use because it's kind of useless, but whatever. Anyways, who cares about that? We're gonna go into the final stage of Mega Man 2, which uses the title music as its final stage theme. I figured, why not? I do like the melting clocks background, the clocks and the tiles. That seems pretty cool, I think. And, oh shit. Oh, too late now. Oh, it's just an E-tank. That's okay. At this point, I'm well stocked in extra lives and E-tanks and all that crap. I don't need anything else. No better gameplay. Oh, that was unfortunate. I was gonna take that hit whether whatever. It was bound to happen. So, and taking hits here have little consequence. So, as you will see, eventually, maybe, I don't know. If I'm feeling it. You see, I take a hit, I could still climb the ladders. That's the lack of polish that we have in this Mega Man... Excuse me. There's a lack of polish that we have with this Mega Man game. Do-do-do, do. It's not a bad tune, actually, to be honest with you. Probably my favorite title theme, to be honest with you. It's not too dramatic or anything like that. You just wish it had better instrumentation, like much of the soundtrack here. Which is really the only unfortunate thing. Oh, we got the monkey thing again. Do I want to use... I might as well use the magnets. I'm not going to use it for anything other purpose. There we go. So I'm going to keep going. Yeah, top spin is almost completely useless in this game. Fortunately, it's not the only useless weapon in this game, because we also have the jackhammer, the jackhammer, the pogo stick, the whatever you want to call it. We got the crushers and some solitary spikes. It's going through rough times, I guess. Got a lightning lord, because we figured why not? Let's have one of these. Oh, extra life. Would have been apropos if I got the extra life and I landed on the spike and it died, negating the extra life. Whatever. I could have just used the rush jet. I'm probably going to use the rush jet eventually. Oh, PPs. Oh, there goes an extra life. Probably couldn't get any more because it's like, whatever. I am amazed I made that jump, actually, to be honest with you. Okay, the air shooters doesn't kill the swirly things. That's kind of lame. Okay, just so we said we used it. Here's the pogo stick. Which is kind of like... Sometimes it works. It's like the idea is you're supposed to use it on Wily, because that's the weakness weapon. But I never use it on Wily, because sometimes you take a hit. It's like the top spin in Mega Man. It's not that optimized, or whatever. Ah, shit. Okay, it's gonna take me a couple tries, but I'm gonna see if I remember the pattern. Avoid the thing. Avoid the toe. Boom. See, once you figure out the pattern, it's not so bad. You just gotta remember the pattern. And Wily is... fuck me. Okay, that's my fault. My bad. Sorry. And you just, you hit Wily. And Wily, flies away. Not much to it. It's just like, he's got like 3 forms. I'm probably gonna have to use an E-Tank, but that's okay. So, Wily drops the bombs. Yeah, I'm gonna use an E-Tank. Better be safe than sorry. Slight aiming on this. Ah, I forgot I did that. That's that. Kind of interesting choice to have the form break after only reaching like a third of health remaining. But whatever. I'll take it. And then, spoiling the whole thing is the stationary Wily form, the final form. You got homing missiles. You got missiles dropping from the sky. Pretty underwhelming boss fight, I think. And then the tail explodes, and Wily just sits there. And Mega Man absorbs Wily's power. Okay. And then Wily escapes. And Mega Man is in hot pursuit in Rush Space Marine. And then Mega Man launches a torpedo. And the torpedo is flying at Wily. And Wily's ship is exploding. Wily's ship is crashing into the planet. Wily's dead. Congratulations, you killed Dr. Wily. Spoiler, he survives the fall and we have like a crap ton of Mega Man entries to follow. Don't worry, he's just fine. He just had like a scratch. Okay. Well, that was you know what? Look. The game's not high quality, but it's still a Mega Man game. Yeah, no, those tend to be hard to screw up for the most part because they follow a formula. You put the 8 things there, you kill the 8 things, you do the weapons and stuff like that, and you do the levels and stuff like that. It's a formula that works. And I've seen a bunch of games follow this formula, especially recently. You know, the Vintage Heroes, your Metal Gal, Mighty Number 9. Someday I gotta sit down and I gotta play that damn thing. Like I've played it, played a couple stages. One of these days, because I really want to like play it, and I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, that's another story. So that was Mega Man 2 on Game Boy, everybody. Pretty pretty solid. Like, it wasn't the most polished Mega Man. It has issues. But it's still Mega Man. It's still a pretty fun game. I ain't gonna complain all that much, to be honest with you. I've played worse, actually. Played much worse. I've played Mega Man on DOS. I gotta see if I could find those. Fire those up again. And yes, I did videos on those ages ago, but those were like ages ago. And, I want to see if I could still play those somewhere. One of these days, we'll see. Maybe. There's still the Mega Man X on DOS I want to sample. Actually, the X stuff is going to be one of the big projects I want to get around to. There's a lot of stuff I want to get around to doing. I just didn't have the time, which explains the infrequency of video posts. Which, sorry about that. My bad. Sometimes real life takes priority and takes up a lot of my time, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got, really. So I don't know, just to be able to play this and turn it into a little video and experience all these names and whatever. I don't know where I got Lightning Lord from. I should have went with these names. I don't remember these names. Did I mention the music here wasn't the best quality? If you want the soundtrack done right, I'd recommend looking up a guy named RushJet1. He's on YouTube, but he also has like a Bandcamp page. He actually redid this soundtrack and a couple of the NES games. Actually, really, really good. If you go to my archive channel, I do Mega Man Maker runs, and some of the music that normally that uses the NES soundtracks. But if you, with a little know-how, you could replace the music tracks with other tracks. And some of the tracks that I replaced uses the RushJet1 soundtrack. It's really awesome stuff. I'd recommend you check that guy's stuff out. He does really good work. And actually, I think he did a couple soundtracks for actual games. I could be wrong, but I don't know. There's also another guy who did reviews for the Game Boy Mega Mans. You can't find the videos. I think somebody has them archived. I don't remember where. A guy by the name of, what's his face there? Prism4 or something like that? Foreigner, I guess. Australian, something. I don't remember. Had a nice accent, that sort of thing. He actually did some funny stuff, and he even showed off some Game Boy accessories. But, yeah, that was fun, I guess. I suppose. You know, one of these days, I should probably look to see if, you know, he had videos up, but they're long gone, which is unfortunate. And that's Mega Man 2 on Game Boy. I've got nothing left to say. That is to say, I've had nothing left to say for a good while now, but just waiting till the end of the video, and this is it. So, yeah, that's all I got. So, anyways, if you endured this whole thing, thank you for your patience and your time, and, you know, thanks for watching, I guess. And, yeah, until next time, take care. Good night. Later.